Hello, guys. How are we all doing this evening? We got on time this time, which is great. As people are arriving in, if you can just obviously put a comment in there, Rachel, I see you, which is great. Thank you very much. So we have actually got two channels broadcasting. We generally see from our end everyone's comments. If you do want to kind of go on to the same as everyone else, I will tell you which one is proving more popular. I've got a feeling actually it's probably equal. Yeah, we've got sort of 10 or 15 in YouTube and about 6 or 7 on the Facebook page. So if you do want to join in via the YouTube link that you had in the email, by all means click that, and then you'll pretty much all be on the same one, just between chatting with each other. But none of your questions will go missed. I'll see them and I'll bring them into the chat and make sure that Jas and our guests maybe answer those questions for you. We had a great tasting yesterday with the slow gins. Which is amazing. I guess sadly in a way, this is our last tasting of the year that we're putting on this side. We have decided we're going to do a New Year's Eve one, so that will be launched probably towards the end of next week. We'll release tickets for that. But generally throughout December, we've got so many private bookings booked in that we can't really do any of our sort of own ones like this. We'll have plenty more in January. This is kind of the last big hurrah before Christmas. And yesterday we introduced some amazing slow gins to have around the Christmas table. Today is essentially about some really good festive premium liqueurs, again, to have around the Christmas table. And the ones we picked, especially tonight, are absolutely phenomenal. And I think the last 2 years or so, they literally fly off the shelves from Tomoka. Even if people don't even come in planning for it, they'll get what they're coming for, they'll try it, and without even giving it a second thought, they're out the door with it. So you're in for a treat with these ones. And now you should have, obviously you've got a tasting glass or a wine glass, anything along that lines to taste with. One thing I would bear in mind, I have noticed obviously one of the ones we've got tonight is like a cream liqueur one. So if you have got a second glass prepared, if not, just be ready that once we get to that one, once you've had it, to rinse it off after. Although having said that, no, forget what I've just said. Forget all that. We're doing that last, so it's fine. It's not going to make a difference. And you should have your Prosecco. Hopefully you've chilled that, so you could open that up now and have it ready. And without further ado, I shall bring Jas on, and we will get going. And just introduce our first guest to you. So let me just bring Jas in. How do?
Can you see me?
Yeah.
I can't see myself at all.
Go, can you not?
No.
That's the same thing you had yesterday, I think.
Oh no.
Sorry, I can tell you. I'll tell you in 2 seconds whether or not. Yeah, you're on the live broadcast as well, so I can see it on my phone. So you're fine. You're fine. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I've just checked actually. Nog is last, isn't it? So it doesn't really make a difference about the glass, so that's fine.
Yeah, my screen is totally frozen, Shane. So I'm gonna have to jump out and then jump back in.
Okay, that's fine. Do that.
Yeah.
I'll run over some bits. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
See you in a sec. Yeah.
Right.
That's fine. Guys, so let me just run over obviously general housekeeping. If we drop off for any reason, then just keep refreshing the YouTube or the Facebook link, and we'll be up and running as soon as possible. Generally, if anything, well, if the actual stream itself drops, I'll start it as soon as I can. Generally, if it's just me that drops off, it still keeps broadcasting, so everyone should be fine on that. I did mention yesterday about our Christmas cocktail sets that we've released. So if you were originally planning to have any kind of staff party this year, obviously that's all changed. We have these cocktail kits ready. So we have one that's designed for a party through our sister company, Poppycock. So you can literally buy this set. It will include 6 cocktails, or you can buy a couple set, which is based on 12 cocktails. And we literally send these out to each household. So you've had a party of 10 people, we'd send that out, and then you can have your own private Zoom in your own time. and have a party. We have themed that set around 1920s. It's something we did back in the summer, that essentially you can get your friends or work colleagues to all dress up in 1920s. You'll have a 1920s playlist, and all the cocktails are themed around Prohibition. We've also released a sort of an Xmas gift set, which is again a cocktail starter pack with a couple of spirits included for your first few cocktails. So it's the perfect gift option to just buy and give to anyone that that may be bored at home. They want to get messy making some cocktails, even for yourself if you think you're the next Tom Cruise. It's a great thing to use. Those are just a simple thing you can pick up from the shop and on craftgins.co.uk as well. You can also buy the staff party sets from Craft Gins, but any big corporate ones like we've been dealing with this week, just drop us a DM or an email, and we can arrange those ourselves, sort of privately. Other than that, I don't think there was anything else. We are back to normal next week in terms of opening hours. Lockdown is over. I mean, was there a lockdown? We don't really know. But we'll be open from 10 till 4 most of the week, and then Friday and Saturday 10 till 5. And we hope to see as many people as we can in there now. We hope Christmas shopping will get back to normal. Everyone's been kind of, especially local retailers, have been affected by it a little bit early on. But other than that, I guess Jas isn't back yet, so he might be having a little problems coming in. So what I will probably do is start us off, and then I can introduce our first guest, and then bring him on, and then we can obviously speak to James and then let him talk about his wonderful product, which essentially is a gin liqueur. And this will be pouch number 1. So I'm just going to change my scroll bar so you guys have got that information as well. And this essentially is a product that we've had for a good sort of 3-4 years. I remember the first year that we had this one, it was kind of made in a limited run, and it completely it was flying off the shelf, and we couldn't get enough of it. So it ended up becoming, I think, pretty much a permanent product of these guys. And it's just gone from strength to strength, as well as obviously the other gins in their brand. The company is called Copper in the Clouds. And a lot of you may have seen, if you're local to St Albans, you may well have seen these guys start up in the market a few years ago. They used to have some stands and used to be very, very popular selling their gin. And they have like a paper design around the front, which a lot of people do notice. And there's a little bit of a background before that, but I'll let James talk about that himself. I've got Jas back now as well. So what I'll do is I'll introduce both of them. In fact, now we've got that out of the way. So let me bring Jas on, and let me bring James in from Copper in the Clouds. And hopefully we've got you all there. Perfect. Jas, I've got you. If we can, as long as we can hear you.
Yeah, I can't see me.
Yeah,
you can now.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, which is the main thing.
Hey, James, how you doing?
This is James, and I'll leave you two guys to have a chat.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Shane. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the technical hitches. James, how are you?
I'm well. How's things?
Yeah, good. Are you in the distillery today?
Yes, I am. Yeah, we've got our end of financial year in like 3 days. We've been doing our end of year stock take, so this is a nice way to finish the day.
Yeah, very good. Well, thanks for joining us. So I think James telling everyone, well, I missed what he said, but obviously tonight is our last tasting of the night of the year. And so we wanted to sort of end with liqueurs. And yours is one that we absolutely love, and you've nailed this winter mulled liqueur. So there you go. Absolutely. And so yeah, please tell us about you and why you started the distillery, and
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so just I guess start from the very top. So yeah, Copper in the Clouds, we're over in central Hertfordshire, kind of in between, very, very near Ware, so kind of between Ware and I guess Buntingford, if you had to place this somewhere. So the distillery's been here 2.5 years. We're producing gin a little bit before that, but we were actually based in London before that. I started the company off the back of working at a distillery in East London. So I was working there, kind of, I was actually sort of doing more events and stuff for them, but learned how to make gin almost accidentally. Like we were experimenting for some drinks for a cocktail menu. Somebody taught me the process. I was like, oh, this is cool. Ended up making more gin with them, and then just after a while decided that I wanted to put my own stamp on it, and a million other things in between. But here we are, ended up with a distillery in Hertfordshire, and it's good now. We're a few years in, we've got past the pain of being like super new and struggling to make rent and stuff, and now it's just kind of obviously just seeing how far you can go with it, really. But it's in a good spot at the moment.
Yeah, I love it. Are you from this area? Are you from Hertford?
Yeah, Bishop Stortford originally.
Okay, right. Yeah.
So I guess I'll go straight on to the product. This is your first one of the night, so I guess none of you have had a drink yet. It makes sense to sort of have something before we start. The mulled blackberry gin liqueur is, as the name suggests, it is a gin liqueur. So for this, we start with our Hertfordshire dry gin, which I'll just get a bottle of. So this is our kind of like flagship dry gin recipe. It's slightly spicy, which is perfect for a mulled liqueur. But the spice in this mainly come from two cardamoms. We use black and green cardamom. And then also, to call it Hertfordshire dry gin, you can't really do that without having some botanicals for the local area. So we've got the lavender. We use lots of lemon balm and also angelica root. All come from a place called Hopley's in Much Haddam, which is very close to the distillery here. So to start with the mulled blackberry liqueur, we start by distilling the gin. So the gin comes out the still about 82%. So we have a pot still. A column still is one of these really giant things with lots of kind of a tall column with bubble plates in. A pot still is a very old-fashioned traditional type still where you have less control over the sort of strength of the spirit coming out. So 82% it comes off the still at, and then we use that to as the base for our liqueur. The blackberries in this are obviously the biggest part of it. So we use a local fruit farm who actually do a very useful thing with the mulled blackberry for this. So they take all the fiber out, which is fantastic, because when we very first make it, I know Shane was saying just now, Jazz and Shane had it the first year we made it, and this was it was like production hell. It was the worst process, because you'd put, I don't know, I can't remember how many kilos used to go in a batch of real blackberries, but it was like maybe 50 kilos of fruit, and you'd put them all in, and you'd sort of put all the spices in, and you would end up with all the kind of fiber and everything that would sort of sit up to maybe half the tank. So you'd get 50% of the tank would be all the solids and everything from the blackberries, and the top half would be, this is after like a week or so that it's been setting, you could pull liquid off, and it just meant that it was a nightmare to separate from the fiber. The best thing about the way we changed our production process now is that we get the fruit farm to filter out the fiber, so they deliver us a clarified local blackberry juice that hasn't been concentrated. The only process it's had done is the fiber's been stripped from it. Right. I'll keep going about this, but for the moment, if you've got it in a glass just in front of you, best thing to do is start with a nose of the product. So you want to smell this. Hopefully you'll be able to smell the spices straight away. So as you may well know, the mulling spices are star anise, cloves, cinnamon and nutmeg. I'm just going to grab a little glass actually so I can join you with it.
So I'll just interrupt James there while he's doing that.
Yeah, go for it.
Obviously for this first one, we're going to pair some of the prosecco that we've put in your kits. We just thought we'd add it to prosecco. It's a nice easy serve. I'm sure James will give us any other recommendations he has for future, but right now, so what my point is, we'll sip it now, we'll sample it now neat with James, and then we'll add a bit of prosecco. I don't know if that's one thing that James does. I don't know if we're basically going to add prosecco to it, if that's good with you.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, so I'll let you carry on with the tasting part.
Okay, it's great stuff. So get a little bit in the glass and have a smell. So the spices we use for this, it said they're classic mulling spices, so star anise, cloves, cinnamon, nutmeg. There's also the blackberry juice. It's got quite a high percentage of that not from concentrate local blackberry juice that I was just talking about. Additional spices on top of the traditional modern spices, you've got ginger. We've also got whole clementines in there. So we use whole clementines so that the oil from the skin comes out. But also once it's cooked, and I'll explain a little bit about the cooking as well in a second, the fruits kind of become saturated with the booze. You can squeeze them out before it goes into its final tank for settling before bottling. And you get some nice clementine juice in there as well. So the process of this is we've got the gin, you've got sweet sugar. So you're doing a liqueur tasting. So obviously one common, it's not very trendy because everyone's sugar-free everything at the moment, but sugar makes everything taste better. Let's be honest. We use British beet sugar, so we get it actually from a cocoa supplier, just because it's the only place we know we can get British sugar, which is of course sugar beet refined down into a white sugar, exactly the same as you get from sugarcane. It's just British rather than being from the Caribbean or wherever else they're growing the sugarcane. We're then adding the blackberry juice, we're adding the clementines, we're adding the spices, we're adding water. As I said, the Hertfordshire dry gin comes off our still about 82%. And then we're adding all the other bits, the blackberry juice, but you still would have a really, really high ABV up to this point. So you add quite a lot of water, and it then actually goes in our still. We don't distill it, but the still at this stage works as a big boiling pan. By adding heat, you allow the spices to macerate into the liquid more effectively. We also add some red wine, and by heating these up rather than just letting them sit in the cold liquid, you really kind of get the characteristics of the spices into the liquid a little bit more. You know, it would taste quite a lot flatter than it does if you didn't do that heating process. But we let it get up to the point where it would start distilling, and then we basically shut the heat off, let it cool right down. It goes through a kind of sieving process, almost several elaborate sieves, but sort of coarser, then finer, and then finally it goes through 3 lots of filtering all the way down to 0.5 micron, which is tiny. So it comes out as a completely clear liquid. You might get a very, very, very tiny bit of sediment in the bottom of a bottle, but that would just be a tiny little bit of the very fine particles from the spices, the ground spices that you use getting left over. It's quite sweet. Again, it's a liqueur. The Jazz said you're having this with Prosecco. It's fantastic with Prosecco because Prosecco's dry. So you're, pairing this really sweet liqueur with Prosecco, and you've got those lovely dark fruit flavors, the spices. It just makes almost like a nice festive Prosecco cocktail, if you could call it that. Another really, really good thing to do with this is put it in warm apple juice. So if you treat it like a mulled wine, so you put mulled wine on the hob, with either a mulled wine tea bag or all the spices or, oranges and stuff. If you put this on the hob, so put some warm apple juice on the hob, take off the heat, add a large measure of this for every person who's kind of getting involved, and you'll just end up with a really nice, warm, festive cocktail that's a great alternative to mulled wine.
Love it. Yeah, that's amazing. So you add sugar after the point, right? Once it's all settled down, you're adding sugar? Or... Yeah.
We actually add the sugar after it's been filtered, because by putting the sugar in, you're making it a lot more viscous. So if you put the sugar in before it's filtered, it makes the filtering harder. So you get a completely clear liquid, and then you add your sweetener, and then it's bottled. So because the sugar's refined sugar, it doesn't add any more solids or any more impurities to it that would need to be filtered out. So you can just add the sugar, and then it gets bottled.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping, James, that this is the first time that a lot of the people on the tasting tonight have tried this, and I hope they're as blown away as we are, because we absolutely love it, as you know. And yeah, let us know your comments. Let us know what you're getting.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm kind of in. I don't know what app I'm in. I've come into this in a bit of a weird way, I think. So I can't see any of the comments or anything. So you're gonna have to be my eyes in that respect.
Yeah, no. So people are loving it. We've got cloves and cinnamon picking out that. Christmas in St Albans say it's so good. So they're loving it. Al's also. His great start. He's liking this. I'm going to add a bit of Prosecco. So anyone else, you want to add a bit of Prosecco to it?
I don't have any Prosecco, so you're just going to have to tell me how this tastes.
So I used a bit of mine. I just gave some to my wife just before I came up to do the tasting, and she said, yeah, it was really good. So what do you what else? What other serves do you recommend with this?
So gin and tonic. It's funny having something that's so heavily spiced cold, but actually it does make a very nice gin and tonic. There's a couple of sort of festive seasonal tonic waters flying about this time of year. Fever Tree do a clementine and cinnamon one. And it's very nice with that. We recommend kind of like quite a lot less tonic. So if you're used to doing like a 3-to-1 ratio, if you're making this as a gin and tonic, even like 1-to-1 actually just makes a really nice short drink. So short glass, you know, a few ice cubes, and then just 1 part liqueur, 1 part tonic water. But you know, it just lengthens it a little bit and makes it a bit thinner as well. So it's not quite as like syrupy.
Have you tried it as a, you know, as an alternative to a Negroni at all, or anything like that?
No, I mean, if it was I couldn't. As a Negroni, I think it would be more logical that it would replace like the vermouth rather than the gin, really. No, we haven't done. I mean, in terms of like a cocktail, it makes a fantastic sour cocktail. So you just need a sour lemon juice, a sweetener, like a sugar syrup, but don't use very much of that. And then shake it and kind of have it served up in a martini glass. It makes a really delicious drink. Just the acidity from the lemon juice makes it a really nice kind of cocktail like that. And also with ginger beer, it's very good as well. Ginger's funny. Ginger is it's in there and like it's in a powdered form. When it's powdered ginger, like when it's fresh ginger, you get that really fiery kind of fresh ginger taste. And when it's powdered ginger, it's almost like the ginger cake type flavor. It's a very different type of flavor. So we have the ground sort of cakey ginger flavor in there, as opposed to that fresh kind of not burny, but you get the kind of ginger feeling.
You're not trying to get the heat. You're trying to get that
exactly
sort of
flavor, the flavor from it rather than the heat.
And you can tell, and it works really well. So the Prosecco's going down really well, actually, in the comments. So people are liking that. Maybe you could add a little twist of orange or something.
I was just going to come in quickly because when we used to actually when we used to pitch out at the shop quite a while ago, one of the things I did actually say was this is great as even just a very simple thing at home for people to use to make mulled wine, because if they did a good measure of this, added some red wine, nuked it in the microwave for 30 seconds, because you've got all the perfect spices in here, it literally works brilliantly to almost create a mulled wine without having to worry too much about getting everything else in to make it. But with Prosecco, I've never had it before, Prosecco, and I really like it. I think you're right. The dryness really brings it down from the sweetness level and just creates a nice finish. We did, I have done a cocktail in the past, which was essentially lemon, vanilla, sugar, 15 mils of this, and then your own gin shaken, and apple juice shaken in a shaker and strained into martini glass, and that actually worked really well. Yeah, that worked really well. And it's obviously more of the mulled back that comes through, but the having the strength of your normal gin in there definitely helps as well. That was a good option.
So James, while we got you on here, just to let people know that he also does a really, really good lychee liqueur, which is still really good for us this time of year as a seller. But obviously this is the kind of quintessential Christmas type flavor. But have you got any other products coming out in the future?
We did. Do you know what? Our next, actually, what we've been working on the last, year, all of 2020. Of course, 2020 has not gone to plan at all. 2020, we're launching a rum brand. It was meant to be the 1st of December. And we've just had to decide not to do it on the 1st of December just because it's all got a bit, we're flat out with gin at the moment, and we just can't add 3 new products into our production schedule. So whilst we've got a very small amount of stock of each of the 3 products we're going to be launching, we've not got enough to be able to launch them and keep them in stock. So we don't want to just launch them and then run out of stock immediately. So we're basically just going to hold off to the new year. And because everyone hates booze in January, we're probably going to wait until February to launch it. But we've got there's a 13-foot like wooden moose at the front of the farm that we're on here, just kind of at the gate. It was a festival installation for a festival that happens right next to where we are. And he just ended up on the farm afterwards. So we've named it the Wooden Moose Rum Company, and we're importing a rum from Guyana, and then we're redistilling it with spices here. And then they're being, having various things rested on pineapple. There's a coffee, cocoa, and chipotle one. We're really excited to launch it, but this is like a teaser because I'm just not going to go any further with it because we don't have anything to kind of show yet. But they're all really delicious, and hopefully they'll be well received when they eventually come out.
Yeah, and I got to tell everyone that James, when it comes to playing with flavors, he releases things that are just like so out there in terms of flavor profile. I don't know how you come up with it, but some of the ones you've got in your range, like the black pepper.
Yeah, mango and black pepper. That's I don't have one to hand, but yeah,
this is a gin. It's actually a drinking gin.
Where is it? I've got to have. Hang on. I've got a miniature here. There's one of the miniatures like right next to me. That's the mango and black pepper one there.
And it sells, right? It works. People really like it.
All of them. So we got the flavored gins. We've got a marmalade gin, mango and black pepper, and light gin raspberry for gins. And all three, the marmalade, I guess, was probably the least quirky out of them. But the light gin raspberry and the mango and black pepper are both a little bit out there.
Yeah.
But they both work fantastically, and really sort of happy to have them in the lineup.
Brilliant. Well, look, James, thanks for joining us. Everyone, that is
no worries at all. Thank you very much.
Copper in the Clouds.
I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the tasting.
Yeah, no, thanks. We've got this at 15% discount on our order today, or anyone that's not joined the tasting. And James will be putting an order in very soon. I will specify cases as opposed to bottles.
Sorry, that was my fault.
That's all right. But good, James. Thanks for taking your Saturday evening and telling us all about your amazing gin liqueur.
No worries at all. Enjoy the rest of the tasting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, good guys, night. that was our first one, the mulled blackberry gin liqueur. It is truly phenomenal, as I'm sure you'll all agree. I might bring Shane on because the next one is something that we've done together.
Yeah, I should just point out, actually, I think just at the end there, you just saw a little glimpse of the little miniatures. So James has brought out these lovely, I love it when brands do a miniature, which looks like their proper gin. That's the best thing. And he's got these miniature bottles, all branded in the same paper packing. We will get those in, actually. I'm going to put together a nice little gift set, which has all the variants, packaging for hay in a box, ready to go. Perfect gift again. So keep an eye out for that. Throughout the Christmas month.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the next one we're going to move on to is patch number 2. We're going in order, so it is patch number 2.
Yeah.
And this is one that we did. So it's called. You can see our logo here, Tomoka, and it is pumpkin and marshmallow.
Toasted marshmallow.
Toasted marshmallow. Yeah.
I thought you might have taken that, but also I've actually brought home with me. This is actually how it's presented in the shop, which is camera that way. We've got our own leather sleeves done with embossed stamp, and you'll see there really nice that it's pumpkin and cinnamon sort of embossed stamp with some flake. Proper leather sleeve. These were actually made by my mum, believe it or not. She came to me and started a leather company up, and I said, well, let's get some really nice collectible branded sleeves done. And they turned out great. And she actually done me these little mini tags here as well with Tomoka embossed on it. So really nice kind of limited edition piece to have on your gin shelf. Everyone's got a nice gin shelf at home now. And we've got them in orange and in black, actually, the sleeves. And you can reuse them, or you just reuse the bottle to put other gin in. I know Josh uses his for water. But there's some options there for you, but it does look lovely.
Yeah, so we this is something that we've done quite a lot of since we started the spirits, Tomoka Spirits. We've worked with other distilleries and had our own limited edition gins made. And this year we went for actually it was Shane's idea to go with the spiced pumpkin. So we had a gin made, spiced pumpkin gin, and then we also went for a liqueur. And this is that with the toasted marshmallow addition, and a slightly different blend of flavors as well. But while we talk about this, I suggest you start pouring some into your glass. We're going to add prosecco to this one as well, so hold some to add prosecco to. But Shane, why did we go with the spiced pumpkin?
I don't know, because we always like to do a festive gin around this time, and obviously Ash approached us from Blackbridge saying that do want to do another one, and we'd never really turn it down because it's always a great fun to make our own gin. And I think last year, or so 2 years ago, we did one called Holly Jolly Gin, And obviously I didn't want to be the same. So because we were looking at it a little bit earlier this year, I mean, we had nothing else to do because we were all stuck at home. And I thought, well, let's kick in just after Halloween and we'll have one that will go all the way through. And I think one of the most popular flavors that everyone seems to go on about at the moment is pumpkin pie and spiced pumpkin, which, you know, you guys, your local Starbucks across, they all bring out this special edition around this time of year. And pumpkin spice, people get the spices to use at home. So I think that was just a general idea of going for it. And obviously we had to let Ash work his magic and play around with some flavors. He got the Californian pumpkin extract in, which only took a week or so to arrive, which was pretty good. But once he started playing around and he turned up, I think Jas got the first taste of it and then called me up and said, this is actually really, really good. So we stuck with it, and we then decided, actually, because he has so many good options he brought us, that we would present the two, a liqueur version and the gin. And that's essentially what we're left up with here. So I believe Ash, when he first created this one, he did say, because if you go too sugary and too liqueur-like, which is a typical kind of 15-17%, you can get a bit sickly and too thick. So he recommended that we stick at 25%. So he could still have enough sugar content in there to be liqueur, but it would be more refreshing and lighter. And that's what we went with. So it shouldn't be too sickly.
Yeah. No, so on the nose, we obviously get that lovely hit of that spice, pumpkin, getting a touch of orange as well. And you're getting all those great spices, just the natural spices. And he's used fresh pumpkin as well as a little bit of extract to give it an extra bit of oomph. Still has that lovely kind of syrupiness to it, but as James said, at 25%, it's carrying just a little bit more alcohol content. So guys, let us know what you feel.
And it's weird because even though I guess you can't really smell marshmallow, because I know it's in there, whether or not it's menthol, but I think it's almost like a creaminess or vanilla-ness you get, which I think could be the marshmallow. Yeah,
I'm not sure really what the marshmallow adds. Like you say, it's not something that you'd necessarily pick out, but it might just bring out some of that extra kind of creaminess, like you say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and straight add prosecco to mine. So guys, if you want to add some prosecco to yours as well. So what Ash did, so Ash is a local distiller, right? Like James, he's here in Hertfordshire, and he's one that we work very closely with. He's a good friend of ours as well. And what he does is he's taken his base gin, so a base spirit, and he started adding spices to that, right? So he's added pretty much, I mean, it's not a secret, but it's kind of the same spices that James added. So a little bit of nutmeg, star anise, cinnamon, some cloves, and lets that steep into the gin. Leaves that for a number of hours, like long amount of hours. And then what he does, he adds pumpkin. And then, so he's got fresh pumpkin, he's adding a bit of fruit, he's adding some orange, he's adding a bit more spice. And then he steeps that for about 72 hours, if not a bit longer. And then, you know, it's ready when the color starts appearing and the fruit starts dropping to the bottom, kind of what James was saying earlier. You see that separation, right? And then you have to sort of sieve it all off and separate the spirit from all the other bits that are floating about. So it's a bit of a longer process, but essentially after that point you then have a spirit, a liqueur, there's load of flavor, and then he adds about 7% of sugar. So the only thing with liqueur, as James said earlier, is that it's all quite sweet, you know, and it's not great in terms of a diet, but it's Christmas, and Christmas is here to be rich and indulgent, so why not just get involved? So yeah, that's the process, and it's really good. It works really well. So I've not tried it with prosecco, but that's what we're going to work.
No, I've not actually, and it's nice actually. Again, it kind of creates that dryness to almost keep the sweetness at bay.
I think actually, oddly, with the introduction of prosecco, you want to add a bit more of the gin to bring some of that sweetness back. But this with maybe, you know, a little orange peel would work very nicely.
Yeah, orange peel would be lovely actually.
Yeah, so Al says creamy, glad it's not too sweet. Darren Smith, I don't know if that's a good or a
Yeah, that's nice.
Adrian also says, yeah.
Because actually, normally Prosecco wouldn't be. Well, I think when I first tried it, my initial thoughts were, obviously with liqueurs, you want to play around as much as you can. That's what gives you diversity compared to a gin. So I was thinking, whack it in the freezer, serve it cold over ice cream, because you've got those nice, really flavors to go with it. Especially like a nice, proper macadamia, fresh vanilla ice cream, something like that along that lines. I would even have it slightly warmed up, neat by itself. Like yesterday, I would add it to a mulled wine to add some of those kind of nice spices in there. I'd even add it to like a hot chocolate, or I'd even add it to coffee, because again, you're adding those kind of spiced pumpkin flavors in. But the one thing that didn't really come to my head first of all was Prosecco, but actually I think it works really well. I think most of the stuff on social media I was sharing was about cocktail serves, using both the styles of gin that we've done and the balance, with some apple juices, some ginger ale, like Justice said earlier, with mulled apple juice. But actually Prosecco's another option. So it's obviously quite diverse.
Yeah, Prosecco is there because it's ease, right? It's ease of what we're trying to do tonight. But yeah, you know, coffee, really good shout. Adding to the mulled wine, again, it's a no-brainer. And because of its where it is, and obviously the comments indicate that it's less sweeter, just with a G&T. So you could add it with an aromatic tonic, for example, or one of these other great flavor tonics that are in the market at the moment. You know, so there's lots of options with liqueurs. Ash is actually still in the Navy, so he works in the Navy. He's a naval engineer, and so he sort of does this at part-time. So he comes back at the weekends, makes gin, and then goes back and sits on a submarine from Monday to Thursday. So he's got a bit of a tough life, and I think he's based in Scotland at the moment. So I didn't ask him to come and join us tonight because, I'm sure he needs time with his family as well. So that's Ash. He's been going since 2016. He's got a great little lineup of products, including a moonshine as well, which I think we did. We did a moonshine.
We've done the moonshine, not long ago. I think the whiskey. A few months back. Yeah.
Okay.
I think generally, we've done a lot of Ash's stuff this year. Many people know obviously the Blue Admiral, which is the color changing gin that he done. We've done the original. We've done the rhubarb and lime, I think, as well. He does have a really good range of gins. I don't know how. I like Jas said, I don't know how he manages it. And he also contract distills. He's got a setup in Luton Hoo now as well, where all he does is contract distills for other distilleries and other brands. So, yeah, amazing.
So that's the Tomoka gin. So I think we had 40 bottles, right?
Yeah, so we had 40 done of each, 40 gin and 40 of this liqueur. There's not a lot left, unfortunately. It has been quite well received, and we had a special offer on the website that is still there, that you can buy both for quite a big discount. So you can get the original and the liqueur as well. But I don't think there's too much left at the moment because it has been going so well. But we can always look at doing it again at another point. He's got the recipe, so it can be done.
Yeah. So a little bit of history on liqueurs. Liqueurs, like most spirits or alcohols like beer and champagne, were extension of monks. Shane went to St. Columbus, so he was surrounded by monks for
brothers.
Oh, they're brothers, aren't they? Yeah, they're not monks. So
in the mountain somewhere.
So St. Albans obviously well known for its monks, with the cathedral, and so liqueurs were basically created by monks, using herbal ingredients to marinate and macerate with neutral grain spirits, adding a bit of sugar. And the first actual sort of proper liqueur that was well known was chartreuse, which is actually naturally green in color. That was in the 1300s. It wasn't until about 1700 when green chartreuse as a product and a brand was started being produced and created. And it was essentially that, taking that sort of herbal remedy liqueur, and then off the back of that, obviously all these other great flavors that we have today. But essentially, it's something that was created by monks, as part of a kind of medicinal purpose. Pretty much like gin when gin was first created. So it's quite nice that the two sort of married together now. So we should probably move on. I've just got to finish this last bit, hence the waffling. But yeah, let us know what you think. So we haven't got a lot of, so even if people wanted to order, they can order maybe, but we haven't got a lot left.
Yeah, we haven't got too much left. So yeah, anyone obviously after, if you do want it, you've got the option there for the discount. So let us know by DM or email, and then if we are short, we'll let you know. But if we've got it in, we'll obviously get it to you as soon as we can. So
yeah, good. So the idea of tonight is to bring you lots of different liqueurs, different flavors, things that you can try, around Christmas time, things that you can pair in different ways and use in different ways. So we're going to move on to our third one. Now, Pip, who was meant to join us, is moving, and she did say that she might struggle. So indeed she has. So we are going to present to you the third one. So pouch number 3. And it's one that we absolutely love. We've been stocking for a couple of years, and it's called Covert. Right there. So Audamus Spirits. Some of you are going to know this brand already because we've done a couple of their products. So Audamus is Live to Dare. I think it is Live to Dare. In Latin.
Dares.
Huh?
He who dares, isn't it? Like
who dares?
Hellboy.
Yeah, something like that. Live to Dare, I think it is, or who? Yeah. Doesn't say on here. But so we've done the pink pepper gin before, and they also do these amazing liqueurs as well. And the Covert is one that we absolutely love. And so we're really, really proud to bring it to you and for you guys to try it tonight. It's just absolutely phenomenal, totally different to the others that we've had, partly because it's a cognac base as opposed to a gin, which is the other two. So the story of Audamus Spirits is a guy called Miko, who's an Australian guy. Some of you, apologies if you've heard the story before. He's an Australian guy who loved making liqueurs, actually back in Australia when he was a young guy. Moved over to England, started working in the financial district, got in the rat race. But luckily for him, in 2008, he got made redundant in the financial crash, and decided that he was going to go off and fulfill a childhood dream and start making alcohol. So he set off on a bicycle and toured around France for 80 days, ended up in Cognac and stayed there for 2 years, learning how to make cognac with a couple of different cognac houses, and learned the art of distillation, really, and then decided that he was going to set up his own distillery in Cognac, right? So in his flat, he's still based there. He's got a lovely glass still, and he makes these amazing spirits there. But his plan was actually that he was going to make spirits for other people. So he'd almost be like a contract distiller. So people would come and say, "I want to make this gin. I want to make this type of spirit." He'd be able to make it. He needed a product to show that he could actually do the job. So he created Pink Pepper, which is the one that we've had on our previous tastings. Really nice spicy gin, loads of great flavor, vanillas and so on. And then people start saying, you know what, you should actually start selling this. So he did. Off the back of that, it's just grown and grown and grown and grown. And he's then started creating all these other amazing spirits. So let's go for a little nose.
So good on the nose.
Like, so the color is just this like really kind of, I mean, it's almost.
It looks like cognac. It really looks like a nice cognac.
Say again?
It looks like a nice cognac.
Yeah. I mean, the color does. I mean, I don't know if the color comes from the cognac, but yeah, you're right. It has that lovely kind of vibrant, deep amber.
Yeah, you're right. Vanilla's really strong, Nick.
Yeah, but that nose that you're getting is the figs.
It's fig by a mile. Yeah.
All right. So figs is a really big thing in the Cognac region. They just grow in the wild around the Cognac houses. So it makes a lot of sense to use it. Then you've got the Cognac base, and he's added some lovely honey to it to add that extra sweetness level. But in terms of, I mean, that fig is just like so prominent.
And the
Every time you go to it,
orange, right?
Sorry?
The citrus is orange in there.
Yeah, there's orange. Yeah. Loads of orange in there. You know, orange and cognac work really well together. You know, it's kind of an obvious. I mean, my mouth's watering, so I'm going to have to go for a little sip.
This over, what they call it, the pudding, Christmas pudding. This over that would absolutely be. You know, you can get some really nice Christmas puddings nowadays, like the Marks and Spencer, you know, finest range, covered in all the fruits and nuts. This would be brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd be as flammable, but it would be nice.
yeah. So it's got this lovely. I mean, it's got this creaminess as well, which is just amazing. I mean, that's something that he has in all his products. He just manages to maintain this lovely creaminess. And the cognac gives us a little bit of heat, maybe a little bit of rye kind of heat. And it's just got this, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, almonds, you're right, Rachel, as well. Almonds definitely there. Yeah,
almonds, yeah. And that fig orange spice from Christmas in St. Albans, yeah, absolutely right. And it's quite jammy, right? It's quite kind of, it's 33%, right? So it's almost touching, you know, like the minimum age of gin. So way above the 20% we tried earlier, and even the 25% of our pumpkin spice. But that extra ABV brings natural extra flavor to it as well, and extra sweetness.
I think Al was putting out the legs there as well. The legs are actually really impressive. It's really high. It's,
totally. And interestingly, Shane, as you know, you're talking about the coffee.
Yeah.
This works amazing with an espresso. Absolutely amazing. I had one earlier, and it is phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah, it's just amazing.
I'm obsessed with my espresso machine. This will be an option then.
Yeah, mate, go for it. Espresso with a dash of this is just because it carries some bitterness, adds that sweetness, adds a bit of extra flavor. And, you know, cognac, coffee, it's like, you know, they're natural pairings.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, it's a really nice warm finish as well. Like it lingers for a while, doesn't it?
Yeah. So with this, you know, it's great on ice, great to sip neat. You could add Prosecco if you want to, but what we've done is chosen to go with dark chocolate. So we've put a little bit of a dark chocolate, which is orange and almond chocolate.
I've got some for a change. I can enjoy it.
Yeah, I went and bought a Lindt one because I didn't have any of the other one. But what we've done is just pair it. Again, it's not something I've tried, but I just think the flavors are going to work. You got that lovely kind of nuttiness. You got the figginess, the jammy orange with that cognac base. So yeah, why not dark chocolate?
Yeah, that works really well with it. Really well.
And again, it can be, you know what? It can just be something. Liqueurs don't have to be planned. You know, they don't have to be planned like, what am I going to do? I'm having a liqueur. It literally can just be something as a little nightcap before you go to bed. A little bit of chocolate. Don't forget to brush your teeth. And, you know, and it's just sort of ends a night. You know, you don't have to go for a big dessert. Maybe just this and this. That's it, you know. That will work for you.
I mean, we had this last year. I remember at Christmas. We had this actually, and the last one we're going to try, and it didn't even last a round at the table. Both of them. It's quite moorish as well. Yeah. Just that's the only danger with things like this. That when they're too nice, and especially when you're not, if you're passing it round, everyone takes their own measure. So everyone was taking big glugs. And by the time it comes back round, it's empty.
Is now the time to have chocolate, Darren Smith? It's always time to have chocolate.
Yeah.
But now is the time, definitely. Yeah. So a little sip of the chocolate. A little sip of the drink, a little bit of chocolate, or whichever way you prefer. And what's actually nice is because the chocolate is a dark chocolate, so it carries a bitterness.
Yeah.
And that just helps counter some of the sweetness of the liqueur, but also marries with some of the bitterness of you know, the elements within this drink itself. So yeah, I think it's a good combo.
Yeah, I mean, especially this particular chocolate, because this is like you said, this is an almond and orange one. So again, you've got those orange notes already in the liqueur, and I think it was Rachel pointed out the almond tones as well. So it was just a no-brainer. When we saw this one on the shelf, we're like, yeah, that would pair absolutely perfect. I think actually even like a dark chocolate with like a saltiness in it, I think would work really well as well. So if you couldn't get anything flavored, a nice kind of rock salt chocolate, dark chocolate.
I think there is one from Lindt. They do a salted caramel, so that might work.
Yeah, actually, that would work really well. Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, look, you could try it with prosecco as well. You know, why not? But I think the quality of the spirit is so good that you could just have it on its own, over ice, perhaps, or what we've done tonight. And also, so I should tell you, this last year or year before, Audimus, they made a special covert, an undercover covert, just for retailers. So they hand delivered these bottles to us, which were just one-off bottles for the retailers that supported them throughout the year, which was a special covert edition, which had it had loads of other stuff in it, but it was absolutely phenomenal. It's just a nice little touch, you know. It's just a sign of quality from a brand. So that was our covert. I should tell you prices. So this is around $25.95.
Our liqueur was $34.95.
Yeah, 34, and this sits around the 38 mark.
Yeah,
if a tiny bit higher.
I'll tell you a good option for the covert, guys. Anyone that obviously, I mean, most of you here have been along for quite a few of our tastings, so you should know now about how to make an old fashioned. If you were to split this, I've mentioned a few times about old fashions using on orange bitters rather than the Angostura. But I think if you were to kind of do a half measure of the covert and a half measure of either whiskey, rum, or cognac in an old-fashioned style, I think that would work perfectly with this as well as a nice longer drink to have at Christmas. I mean, that would be just perfect.
Yeah, Rachel. Yeah. So those prices are without the 15%. So you get the 50%. Shane, actually, none of these are obviously on our website because.
Well, the pumpkin liqueur is on the site, and I've added the mulled blackberry. The only thing that's not on the site is the covert and nog, because they're not technically gins, so they're not actually on there. So anyone that wants those, you'll be obviously DMing us and emailing after. That's fine.
Yeah, email us and we can sort anything out to you. Shane, it sounds like you have an exorcist in the house because I'm getting all the feedback. So it sounds like
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think it's my fan. My fan is very weirdly positioned, almost where the speakers are, I think. So I think you're getting the feedback from the fan.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Okay, so that's a covert. So that's 3 down. We are swiftly moving on to patch number 4.
I need to finish my covert. Hang on.
Let us know if anyone did add prosecco to this, and what it tastes like. It's so Moorish. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, it is really dangerous. Really dangerous. I think with this one and the mulled blackberry liqueur, and actually the last one we're going to try. I remember customers last year that were coming in beginning December, doing their Christmas shopping, buying them, but then coming back in a week later to buy it again. And I'm like, well, how come you're back in? Because I opened it and drank it. Yeah. We finished it off in one night. We need more.
Yeah, absolutely. So, look, I love everything that we've done for you on this evening's tastings, but my personal preference, I think we've saved best for last, and that's just because I love this style of liqueur, and it's very different to everything else we've had. So, we are jumping on to patch number 4. It's unmistakable, and it's called Nog from Norfolk.
I like how you gave me a bit more of this.
Yeah, you know what I did? I did. I gave you more because I knew that you love this. So we got they've got a seal on the emblem there, because seals are very prominent around Norfolk area, and you notice the seal has a little bowler hat because the bowler hat was actually invented in Norfolk, so they're sort of harking back to some of their history as well. And obviously this comes from where, Shane?
What's that, Norfolk?
Yes. Yeah, it comes from Norfolk. So Christopher Coward tried the Cobra Prosecco, but much preferred it neat. Okay, yeah. Look, yes, it is. It is. I would always recommend it neat. I don't think it needs to be added to anything, but yeah, thank you for trying it, and it was very interesting that you did, because it's nice to know what works and what doesn't. But yeah, I think it does speak on its own as a neat drink. I don't think it needs anything else apart from a little bit of chocolate, perhaps. But the Nog, yeah. So the Nog started off as a limited production of about handful of 1,000 bottles. It's always been in their range for quite a long time now, but they've rebranded it all. They've called it Nog because it's a cream-based liqueur, although it doesn't really have egg in it. So it's not like an eggnog. But it's using the Norfolk is from the English Whiskey Company. So the English Whiskey Company is the first English whiskey distillery in the UK for well over 150 years. Started in 2006, and they make this amazing English whiskey, which we sell the smoky version and the original, plus any limited they do when they can. And they've always had these liqueurs floating along. So we've got the PX sherry liqueur. We've got they do a bramble liqueur as well, and loads of others. But this is just the standout pleaser, especially this time of year. So yeah, we thought we'd have to finish on this, and it is absolutely amazing. And if you aren't buying this at the end of the day, then there's something wrong with you, seriously. So look, I normally say pour half your pouch.
Just whack it all in. Just whack it all in.
Say, chuck it all in. Chuck it all in the glass, and finish on a really good night. So look, it's creamy. You know, it's like a Bailey's, right? It's essentially a take on the Bailey's using English whiskey as opposed to Irish whiskey.
It's a posh man's Bailey's. It is literally. It's like Caramac. That's what it's like. Caramac, vanilla.
Yeah.
Milky Bar Kid. It's all coming in there.
Yeah. It's all of that. Yeah. And really, it's a really simple process. They take their English whiskey, so the English whiskey base. They then add an Irish cream to it, and pretty much that's it. There's maybe a couple of other little things they add. It might be a little bit of touch of spice, sweet spice or something. But that's pretty much it. It's just a question of blending the quantities and getting it right.
Oh, Christmas pudding, yeah, definitely good with that.
Yeah. Oh, but everyone said that. So yeah,
Yeah.
Rachel Long and Darren Smith said that. Yeah. And it's just amazing, right? It gives you so much on the nose. What I like about this is it's not as thick and syrupy as some of the Irish liqueurs, or other cream liqueurs rather. Percentage-wise, it's 19%, so it's not as strong, but that's a cream.
Oh, is it 19? 21 there. Has it gone down there maybe? From previous ones? No, always been. Maybe it's just me there.
Oh, I know. But the 19% just makes it a little bit more drinkable.
Yeah.
And it's just, for me, it's just fantastic. You know, that single malt whiskey sitting in the back there with the cream is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, because that's the difference as well, is the fact that you get a really nice nose from it. I don't think you get that with other cream liqueurs, really. You don't get a nice nose coming off.
No. You're right, because they're quite thick and dense. I don't think you do get that extra flavour and that nose coming through. But with this one, it's just amazing. If anyone's got any mince pies left over from yesterday's tasting, then again, this is just a quick, simple, you know, cream liqueur mince pie combo, and you're good to go.
So good.
There's not really a lot to say. You know, this kind of speaks for itself. You know, like I said, they're based in Norfolk, the first English distillery. They make a very, very good whiskey, which you have to try if you've not tried it.
I mean, it's a testament to how they produce this liqueur, though, because I mean, sometimes when we first used to mention it to people, especially those that really, you know, have never had whiskey or don't like whiskey, they might turn around and say, "Oh no, I don't like whiskey," and then all you had to do was just give them some. So no, don't worry about it, try it, and they just fall in love with it. You know, if you, unless you were told, if you're not that educated on spirits, I don't think you would even pick out as a whiskey. You would just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah, the fact I'm saying it's a whiskey is just because it's made by the company that you wouldn't have to necessarily know. Rachel Long, yeah, don't usually like cream liqueurs, but I'm assuming she's liking this. Nick's Mac also said, yeah, lovely, unexpected. Alison, very nice. Yeah, it does the job. I think it absolutely does a job. It's a great way again to end the evening. You know, I don't know if you'd end the evening with it, because certainly not on Christmas Day. You'd have way too much. It's way too rich. But you know, in the build-up or maybe afterwards, you know, like you say, with little,
like you said, round Christmas pudding. That's when we had it last year. We had it. I put it round the table right when we were having the pudding section, and like I said, it didn't get back round. It finished before it got back round again. So it's amazing. That I think after that point, I would go on to covert. That's the point I would go on to that after. When I'm sitting down on the sofa, you're watching EastEnders, you're falling asleep. I haven't ever got covert in my hands.
Yeah, it was just you and your 9-year-old daughter last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, just naked back. She actually probably would take some. She's the cheeky one. Rome doesn't like any alcohol, but Larissa's always trying to sneak stuff.
No, it's good. And also it comes in this amazing kind of bottle. So yeah, what's not to like? It tells a story, it does a job, and it's very different to the other drinks we've tried tonight.
They do just on the point there that they do another one which we obviously haven't tasted today, but they do one called PX, which again uses whiskey, and that's mixed with sherry, Pedro Ximénez sherry, in fact. And if you imagine how good this is, you can imagine how good that is. So if you like your sherries and your whiskies, imagine those put together. That's another great product, and we have that in stock as well.
Yeah. Adrian says that Chris is getting a mince pie to enjoy this with. Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. Amazing. Yeah, really nice. Do not add Prosecco to this, though, whatever you do.
No. There's a few cocktail options you could use with this, actually, to be fair. There's definitely a few. I'd be inclined to, thinking what I've done in the past with Mozart liqueurs, possibly this could work in an espresso martini quite nicely. Yeah. That would be my go-to. I might give it a go at some point over Christmas.
Yeah, when I was working in bars and pubs, when I was doing the morning shift, I'd make myself a little coffee and then pour a little bit of Bailey's as my milk.
Oh, really?
Instead.
That's why you never got any work done then, I take it.
That's why I never got any work done, yeah. 10 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, there's something wrong with me then. But this is great in a coffee. It's just, you know, it's substitute for the milk. Obviously, assuming you're not driving or doing any work, then yeah, it's just so good because you can mix it in so many different ways. So I definitely Rachel said floated on top of an espresso. Yeah, great. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think even shaking it would work. I think if you supplemented the sugar for the nog, and then still kept your Kahlua coffee shot, and then I'd be actually inclined, rather than doing vodka, to actually have whiskey and then shake it that way, and really emphasize it just as an alternative serve.
Yeah, even a White Russian, you know, just like
White Russian's good. Yeah, that'd be a good shout.
So many different things you could do with it. So yeah, look, I hope you've enjoyed the night tonight. It's kind of whizzed by a little bit quick, but you know, we've tried some really good drinks, and hopefully inspired you to extend your Christmas drinking, seeing as you'll all be at home and not really going out too much. But as Shane said, we've got a New Year's tasting lined up where we're talking to a few different people about what we're going to do. And it's going to be really good. So make sure you keep an eye out on your emails and let us know if you're after a ticket for our New Year's Eve. We might go on Zoom that night so we can see loads of people. You know? Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see. I think I spoke to a few of our regulars actually this week, and they were joking about whether or not we'd do it at fancy dress, and I think they're going to dress up anyway. The glitzy glamour. I mean, why not? You're doing nothing else New Year's Eve, so we'll put something really great together. And actually, we talked about cocktails again here. So like I said at the beginning, we've got the cocktail sets available for either the party option or the gifting. It's worth getting in, especially if you haven't got a set at your home. I know a lot of people on here actually have joined in a lot of our nights where you've got the cocktail kits now. But if you haven't, it's worth having one at home because you can play around. Nowadays with internet and everything else, recipes are a click away. So once you've got the stuff at home, you can always then play around. And at the moment, when there's not much to do at home, if you've got loads of stuff lying around, why not make some cocktails and, get messy, have a laugh.
Yeah. If you need any advice, then Al, who's on this call tonight, he has plenty of experience with cocktails.
Yeah.
I think he's done every single tasting we've ever done.
Yeah.
So he can give you any advice you need if it's our day off. Thank you, everyone. Really nice comments from you tonight. And
I remember as well, with your tasting cards, you get 15% off anything from tonight. So like Jess said, we've got 2 of the options on our craft gin site, which is the mulled blackberry liqueur and our pumpkin and marshmallow. So you can order those on there with your code from the guide, or just drop us a DM if you're ordering anything of the other ones as well at the same time. Drop us an email, and then we'll get those in as soon as possible for you. I mean, you'll have them way before Christmas, so you can drink them and then order some more. So
yeah, and I literally have cases of this stuff coming in, cases and cases of it, because it just flies out. It's $27.95, so it's a bargain, absolute bargain. But yeah, let us know what your favorites were. It'd be really nice to know whether you had a preference for anything in particular. So yeah, let us know in the comments real quick before we fly off what your preferences were.
I'm always drawn to Nog, but I think I've just, again, every time I have that covert, it reminds me how good it is, and I think I'm almost torn between the two. And because coverts, they've both got a lot of diverse options, but I think covert you could do a lot with. But I can't choose because I also love the mulled blackberry. And I
know. I can't. So Al's gone for 3, 4, 2, 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Rachel Long went for 1, 4, 2, 3. Okay, very good. Very good. Yeah.
That's good. This is quite. I think that's quite. I think everyone's kind of. It's a broad range again today. I think, which is good. Rachel saying covert, yeah. Oh, covert was your least favourite. Wow. Okay. Maybe because there's too many good options on. To pick a winner.
Yeah, it's always a sign of a good tasting then.
Yeah. Excellent.
But yeah, look, guys, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, obviously, we've got our online tasting New Year's Eve. We're definitely going to do something.
Yeah.
And it'll be a little bit out there, a little bit different. And yeah, obviously, we're in the shop. So come and see us if you're local. If not, then yeah, have a great Christmas, and we'll see you on the other side. Adrian says 3, 1, 4, 2. So covert again with the Nog, and then the mulled blackberry second place. Very good, excellent.
Yeah, good stuff. And we've got Darren Smith as well. Nog, but covert lost again. Okay.
Oh, that's Edith.
Edith. Okay.
Yeah. Very good. All right, guys.
Everyone's got the very much, which is great. Good stuff. Okay. Yeah. Brilliant. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining us. And like Jess said, we're back open now. Lockdown's finished, so we are back on normal hours for Monday. My dog's going nuts for a hedgehog outside. But we hope to see you in the shop, shopping online, and then obviously hope we all see you at New Year's Eve. Just keep an eye on your emails. We'll let you know as soon as we can. And well done, Rachel. Merry Christmas, everyone. It's time to get. I've been a bit of a humbug this week, saying we shouldn't put Christmas decks up. So it's only a few days, and then the kids can get the decorations up, and then they can start celebrating.
My arm is twisted. We're putting them up tomorrow.
Really? No,
I can't put them up before December the 1st. But
no.
Yeah, I know. Well, we are
too much of a coffee. Too much. By saying that, my table over there has got all stuff they brought today, so I'm guessing they're going to try and hit me with it tomorrow. So I might
It's too early.
Excuse to get out.
It's too early, but there you go. Never mind. Never mind.
Cool. All right, guys. See you later. Have a
All
great
right.
weekend.
Thank you. Take care.